are the Iowa farmers that $20 billion is going to their...
$40 billion.
$40 billion is going to their competitors.
Oh, they're pissed. Oh yeah, and what's really interesting about it is the tariffs are the ones that create, like the trade war. The tariffs created the problem, got rid of the markets, and now we're going to pay them back with money from the tariffs that started the problem. Doesn't make any sense, right? They're more pissed. Farmers don't want a bailout. Farmers want fair markets. That's what they want. They want good, fair markets, and they had that until Trump got there and started doing what he's doing, creating trade wars, creating chaos in the marketplace. And now they're trying to figure out what to do. And then, like you said, giving $40 billion to Argentina, it's a slap in the face. What I'm seeing is, it's condensing down Iowa to these major metropolitan areas, so they have more land to farm on, so more of those big ag corporations are making money hand over fist, and the small farmers are getting out of the way. That's what it seems like. So again, we need to fight for small farmers. We need to fight for working class people to prevent what's going on.
Are you angry?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm totally mad. There's no reason for it. This is absolute stupidity. This is a man-made crisis caused by Donald Trump, period.
John Bartman is a soybean farmer whose family has been working Illinois land since before the Civil War. This year, his crops, diligently planted, meticulously cared for, are losing their value.
This is a yield monitor. This allows me to see instantly what my yield is doing. So this is 4,134. So that's roughly $40,000 worth of soybeans that we have harvested. And a couple years ago, that was easily $60,000. So that's a major change. This is the economics. It's what we do in this country. We export food. And we can't do that right now.
Soybeans are the largest agricultural export from the U.S., valued at more than $24 billion last year, 52% of which was exported to China. But this year, soybean exports to China are down 51% compared with the same time period last year. The drop comes as China stopped buying soybeans from the U.S. and an escalating trade war. President Donald Trump insists farmers will win the trade war. Posting on Truth Social October 1st, "We've made so much money on tariffs that we are going to take a small portion of that money and help our farmers. I will never let our farmers down." John Bartman is skeptical.
Bailout's not going to do it. Bailout, unfortunately, we need the money.
Once you lose a customer like China, can you ever get them back?
I sincerely doubt it. Why would they?
So I'm sure everybody has heard, but Trump just said that we're going to bring in some beef from Argentina after we've already paid them billions of dollars. Well, if you want to go get some of that sagebrush, mesquite tree eating beef, go ahead and order you some of that. And you can go get that at the store, actually. But you know what? On the ranch here, we got these premium ribeyes straight off the ranch, American USA beef. Good, nice Angus prime beef. You can get some of this at GLineRanch.com. But yeah, you can go order that. You can go get that store-bought stuff from Costco that you don't know where it's coming from, Timbuktu or whatever. But we got premium beef, USA grown and homegrown. GLineRanch.com.
I am so excited that more people are waking up to the fact that foreign countries are coming into our country and buying up our agricultural lands. But one thing that most Americans don't know about, most Americans don't understand that our food markets are already largely foreign owned and controlled. What do I mean by this? So in our food supply, we have meat packing. That's where your hamburgers and steaks, where these guys are made into hamburgers and steaks. We have 3-4 companies that run it all. Of those 3 companies, one is completely foreign owned by a set of corrupt brothers from Brazil. The other is a little bit better at hiding who owns them, but let's just say there's a major foreign country that we are in competition with now that owns the other one. So 2 of the 3 packers, which process 85% of all beef in America, are foreign owned. That is something that our politicians have been doing to you and me, the American people at large, for decades and decades, and it needs to stop. So please like and share this video. Let's spread the word about the corruption in our food supply and how our politicians have been making deals with these corrupt corporations for decades, and now it stops. I'm Claire Dunn. Please follow me for more, and I'll keep explaining ag. I'm an independent singer-songwriter. I make damn good music, and if you don't believe me, just go check it out. My latest single is Cowboy State of Mind. Please follow me on Spotify. My music is on all streaming platforms. I grew up on a farm and ranch, and this is coming from a no bullshit place. So thanks for watching. Please share this. Follow me for more. God bless.
Nobody is talking about how there used to be 6.8 million farms across the United States, and there's only 1.9 million farms today. There used to be 6.8 million farms in 1935 when the US population was around 127 million people. Whereas today there's 333 million people living in this country and only 1.89 million farms left to serve them. Where have all these farms gone? Big ag conglomerates that are destroying the planet have absorbed a lot of these small to medium-sized farms. Some nefarious billionaires have bought up this farmland to turn it into manufacturing sites or places for solar farms. Investment companies are buying up this farmland, leveling the farm, the barn on the property, and turning it into unaffordable housing units that we don't need. And in some cases, farmers are getting out of the business of farming just because it's been so grueling on them and they don't necessarily have someone to pass it on to. Maybe they didn't have kids. This is the most important thing, in my opinion, facing us right now. If we continue on this trend, there's going to be less than 1 million farms left in this country in the next 10 years. Then who's going to feed us? Think about it. $24 trillion worth of farmland, farming assets, and barns are going to be for sale over the next 20 years. It was reported in the 2025 Farmers Almanac. It's so important that you and I buy this farmland as opposed to these conglomerates, these corporations that want to get their fingers in it. Not only is it important for our future food supply chain, it's also important for the environment because all of those actors are destroying it. And more people need to talk about this. I'm breaking it all down here.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and it's always amazing having you here, my viewers, my subscribers. I just popped up to say hi and to welcome you back to my YouTube channel, and ensure that you leave a comment so we can engage in discussion about other issues that are affecting our country at the moment. So it's really amazing having you here. I love you, and as I usually say, if I had a prize, I would give you. So let's continue watching, and I'll be making my conclusions at the end of this video.
We got him. We got OJD Vance, Peter Thiel, and the Walton family. I knew there was something going on about these Arkansas farmers. And you know what? You can get mad at me all you want. Do the frickin' research. JD Vance owns a large share of a company called Acre Trader. Same with Peter Thiel, the man that's behind all of this monitoring data center crap to watch you and to watch me. And guess what? The Walton family, one of the richest families in the country. Guess what? They own Acre Trader. You know what Acre Trader does, folks? Acre Trader goes in and buys farmland that can't pay their taxes. And guess what they do? They hire people to go in and work it. It's for profit, and then all of their investors make money off stealing farmland. It only gets better. Guess what? They specialize in taking corn and soybean farms. Huh. Go figure.
I just want to check in real quick that the farmers that are going bankrupt in like Nebraska or whatever don't grow our food, right? They don't grow food. They grow commodities. They grow soybean, wheat, and corn that they then sell to commodities brokers, middlemen, who then sell it to China and other countries and sometimes to the U.S. government and lots of other people. And those middlemen, those brokers aren't buying it because we can't sell it to foreign countries, or they're not buying it because of Trump's tariffs. But our food comes from farms in California and Oregon and Idaho and some in Florida and like lots from foreign countries. So like these tariffs are affecting commodities farmers because not only do they sell their commodities to those brokers, which aren't buying, but they paid for the gas in their tractors and their fences and their seeds and their fertilizer with loans from the federal government. So not only is the commodities that they grow, which in a lot of the places where they grow them, they shouldn't be growing them because it's not a suitable climate and they have to overuse water and pesticides anyway. But all those loans are coming due too. So anyway.
This is terrifying. What? Farmers across America are going bankrupt. They're calling it Farmageddon. Good. Serves them right for supporting Trump. You still don't get it, do you? Where do you buy food? The grocery store? And you think food prices are bad now? Just wait. Tariffs have decimated farmers.
What do you think happens when you start ridiculous trade wars with other countries? They get mad? Yeah, understatement. China's the world's top soybean buyer, and soybeans alone brought in $13 billion for American farmers last year. Now those sales, almost all gone. Yikes. And that's not all. These immigration crackdowns, some farms lost 100% of their workers, all kidnapped by ICE. Now, how do you pick food without workers? You can't. It's rotting in the field. Whoa. Plus, seeds, feeds, machinery, potash, pesticides, all more expensive than ever before. Then you add on high interest rates, and what do you get? Farmageddon? Bingo. And farmers were already 3 times more likely to die by suicide. Ugh. And don't forget, in 22, J.D. Vance's venture capital firm heavily invested in Acre Trader, an app specifically designed to buy up farmland for cheap and sell shares to investors. Wait, so the goal is, want to control people? Control their food. So what do? Thoughts?
Someone asked me the other day, why is it that more of America's farmers have not yet turned on Trump? After all, he's cut farm-to-table programs, he's cut farm-to-school lunch programs, he's cut all kinds of funding for, structural improvements, drainage, climate resilience programs. He's cut all kinds of grant funding for farmers all across this country. He's cut USAID that has cost America's farmers billions. Ask farmers in Nebraska how they're doing right now. We are seeing silos full of corn and wheat and sorghum that go unsold. The government, United States government, had promised to buy these crops, and then they pulled the contracts because Elon Musk gutted USAID. And all of this food, not just grains, but also milk that is turned into powdered milk, that was meant to go and secure our interests abroad and feed hungry people, is now sitting unsold in the United States of America, and that is hurting our farmers. Why are more of them not pissed off? And somebody else said, well, why are more farmers not freaking out that all of their migrant labor is being snatched by ICE? We are seeing ICE running into farm fields, snatching migrants who are toiling, picking our food, the food to feed the American people. They are coming in and tackling and snatching these folks, abducting them, and stuffing them into detention facilities where billions of our taxpayer money is going to keep these people imprisoned. And someone in my comments who was from the Midwest said, oh, don't you understand, in a lot of these states, especially a lot of the grain farmers and dairy farmers, they don't actually use that much immigrant labor. If they have very mechanized, agricultural setups on their farms, then they're not really interfacing that much with migrant labor. And yes, I totally understand, for those folks who are growing large amounts of soybeans and grains, that makes sense. If you don't have to interact with brown people on a regular basis, you can dehumanize them more easily. You can justify what Trump is doing more easily. But there are farmers all around the country that rely heavily, heavily on migrant labor, especially where I am on the West Coast. And they are about to feel the hurt real bad. It's starting to be that time of year where more and more crops need to be picked. And while it was an issue earlier in the year, like in Florida and Southern California, we saw a little bit of farm laborers who didn't want to show up to pick strawberries and broccoli and citrus because they were worried about ICE. Well, now we are seeing the Republicans in Congress. Republicans are now the fascist party of this country, right? They are fully consolidated as a fascist party. They have now agreed to take billions of our tax dollars and expand ICE tenfold. The Republicans in Congress have now given Donald Trump $150 billion of our hard-earned tax money to create his own massive secret police force, his own Gestapo that will be terrorizing communities all over the country. There's $150 billion for raids, but $0 for Medicaid. Do not forget that Republicans did that. Republicans did that to all of us. And so now we are seeing a tenfold increase in the completely rational fear of our hardworking migrant farm workers who feed this nation. And guess what? Farmers all around the country, right at a time when cherries and soon plums and peaches and all kinds of other crops around the country are coming ripe, crops that by and large need to be picked and sorted by hand. There's a massive farm labor shortage because workers are terrified that they are going to be snatched off the job, that while they are working, someone will snatch them out of the field and they will never see their families again. I'd like to point you to a piece from Spokane Public Radio from last week. It's called "Fear of Ice Causes Labor Shortage for Washington Cherry Growers." We've had 200 years of migrant farm workers in this country traveling from Mexico up the West Coast, following the picking season to harvest our food. Now, we've also had 200 years of abusing those farm workers, exploiting them, refusing to pay them a living wage or giving them safe work conditions. Yes, one of the things I've said previously is that I hope at the end of all of this, one of the things that comes out of this is that we understand the people who pick our food, they deserve dignity, they deserve a living wage, they deserve safe working conditions. They also deserve justice, and the people who are doing this to them deserve accountability. What we're seeing is a lot of the stone fruit pickers up here in Oregon and Washington, they come up from California and they are afraid to make that drive. They are afraid that there will be checkpoints where they will get abducted. They're afraid once they get here that they will be abducted by ICE. And so they're hiding. I can only imagine what kind of food insecurity that creates for their families. So the Spokane Public Radio piece talks about how the cherry picking labor shortage in Washington state is reaching a crisis point. They interview a woman named Rosa Hernandez, who is picking cherries at an orchard in Wenatchee. She was one of the few who was willing to make the drive from California to Washington to pick this year. She did so because she's an American citizen. But she said even though she is a U.S. citizen, she was terrified to make the drive because she's a brown person. We are seeing ICE doesn't give a shit about your citizenship. If you look like you could potentially be an immigrant or have immigrant ancestry, if you happen to have any kind of an accent, if you speak Spanish, they don't care, they will snatch you. And there's no oversight for you. There's no protection for you right now. She talks about how she did the long drive up to Washington state and she was afraid to pull over at rest stops to go pee because they have heard that ICE agents are waiting at rest stops. They're waiting at gas stations to snatch people. One of the farmers that they interviewed said that he's really terrified they can't get people to pick their cherries and that impacts the financing of their farm. So when you couple the fact that fruit is rotting on the tree with the cuts in grant programs and the volatile economic circumstances in the United States, he's worried that what we're going to see is by next year, more and more farms will be going under. Even Fox News for Seattle, even Fox News is covering this story, saying the growers are not just worried about cherries. They are worried that these labor shortages will extend to apples, grapes, and many other fruits that are grown in Washington state, also grown here in Oregon. Fox News called immigrant farm workers essential to our agricultural system. They said growers across central Washington say fears of immigration enforcement and potential ICE raids are keeping workers away from the field and are currently threatening to leave millions and millions of dollars worth of cherries unpicked, rotting on the trees. The Fox News story went on to interview migrants who said they are scared to show up and that the fear will compound. It will get worse and worse as ICE escalates. And then, interestingly enough, there's a whole section in this article for Fox News readers that is called Why You Should Care. Not surprisingly, maybe. It doesn't say you should care because what is being done to our immigrant farm workers is inhumane, it's cruel, it's illegal, it's terrible, it's an ethnic cleansing in the United States. No. Why you should care, Fox News reader, is because Washington state is the nation's top producer of sweet cherries. And if the fruit is not being picked, that means that there is going to be a shortage and prices are going to go up. Even a delay, even if there's just a delay in picking, fruit is rotting on the tree. Fruit is an ephemeral crop, y'all. Fruit can't just sit there hanging out. You have to pick it when it's ripe. And so any delay, any shortage of labor for any period of time is immediately lost revenue. Now, this piece came out right before the big bloated budget bill got passed by Republicans in Congress. And, the Fox News take is hopefully lawmakers will consider the long-term economic impact of the agricultural labor force and even revisit immigration reform. I don't know how to make Republicans care about immigrants. I don't know how to make them have compassion and a conscience. I don't know how to make them be moved by the suffering that is being inflicted by our government right now. I don't know how to make them care about anything but their own pocket, their own personal suffering, their own negative experiences. And you could say at some point there's going to be such a severe shortage of labor on our farms that people are going to go hungry. It's going to impact the economy. And then folks will start to care. They will want things like immigration reform. I hope so. I hope so. But also, I am quite worried that this massive expansion of ICE abductions to 3,000 people a day, 3,000 non-criminals a day that are being stuffed into these concentration camps, that those will become forced labor camps. We've already seen Trump say that multiple times, that people in detention camps could be lent back to the farmers. But as of right now, it looks like there is going to be a shortage of all kinds of crops that are coming ripe over the next several weeks. It looks like there's going to be a shortage of what is available in the stores. There will be increased prices. Until we stop it, there will be increasing food shortages. Until we stop it, there will be increasing human rights violations. Until we stop it, there will be hundreds of billions of our tax dollars being used to inflict suffering, to fund the American Gestapo, not only terrorizing our country, but weakening our food supply and our entire nation.
Hello, thank you everyone for watching this video to the end. It's really amazing having you here, my viewers, my subscribers. You really mean a lot to me. So let's make our analysis, because most people are asking me, why hasn't the farmers stand on Donald Trump? Why? Because I believe that Maga is a cult. And most of you can agree with me on that. Maga is a cult. And one thing with the cult, the supreme leader is always correct. Our supreme leader, Donald Trump, is always correct. Now, MAGA Republicans, 84% who are farmers, 84% of the farmers voted Republican. So what I mean is these farmers voted Trump for presidency. And now what's happening, that is so just to own the Libs, and now the billionaires, the likes of J.D. Vance, are owning their farms, you know what I mean? Trump is giving out bailout to these Argentina, their competitors, Trump wants to flood our US market with beef from other countries, you know what I mean? So what's next for our farmers? What's next? Because Trump keep blaming them for the rising cost of beef. When in the real essence, the rising cost of beef was caused by these tariffs, which led to the cost of beef production increase because the cost of these beef feeds, these cattle feeds, it's skyrocketed because of these tariffs. Now, Trump, who usually blames others for his mistakes, began blaming farmers for the increase in beef prices instead of looking into the main issue that has been affecting beef farmers, soybean farmers, tomato farmers, with the issue of lack of workers because of deportations, you know what I mean? And even in some construction industries, the lack of construction workers. So instead of Trump looking into the real core problem that is causing this Maga farmers and lose their farms, these foreclosures, you know what I mean? He keeps blaming them. And what I usually say is that I don't understand why many Americans vote against their interests. I don't know. And I don't know why many American farmers or maybe many Republicans vote against their welfare or maybe their good governance. I don't know why. Tell me in the comment section why. Because this is beyond hatred, this is beyond racism, this is beyond what a human being mind can comprehend. This is beyond everything. So they are busy destroying our country, they are busy destroying our farms. They are on self-destruction. I don't want to say they are robots, or maybe I want to say that, but I believe that at the moment it's really bad what's happening in our country, and maybe that's the reason why Trump is said to defund education, so that the Heritage Foundation, the issue of Project 2525, can be implemented with few Americans questioning it. You know what I mean? So tell me your thoughts in the comment section, because I would like to hear what is your thoughts on all this saga. So what I usually say is until the next video, don't fail for the government side up. Stay alert, stay focused. Watch Blue Talk, Blue Vote Blue. Until the next video, thank you for your attention to this matter.